My name is Michelle Logan, and this is my final COTEL project. My goal was to see if the use of video feedback would help improve student skills and performance in PE. I linked my goal to the assessment and evaluation net standards in the hope of improving methods to collect and communicate data to my students with the use of technology. To carry out this project, I used the Ubersense Video Analysis app on a class set of iPads that allowed us to video each student and then provide instant visual and verbal feedback. Feedback was given immediately following the performed skill. The idea of video feedback in my PE classes is not a new one. I have videoed my students for every unit, but they don't see these videos until they download them from the school's main share. I was not planning on redefining this aspect of evaluation. Using specific video software allowed for instant video feedback to replace delayed video feedback. The modification from using a flip camera to using iPads in Ubersense meant the students were able to see themselves immediately and attempt to make the changes. I started my study with my grade 7 PE class during the first week of their soccer unit. We met in the gymnastics room, aiming to have a quiet, less distracting spot to introduce Ubersense and the iPads. The girls sat in pairs and watched the Ubersense tutorial for 5 minutes. After that, they were given the opportunity to video each other and play with some of the Ubersense functions. The excitement of downloading apps, along with gymnastics equipment in a padded room, meant that some of the focus was lost. As you can see in the background of these videos, the girls were more interested in playing with the iPads than actually videoing each other. I quickly realized that I had not spent enough time training the girls or myself with Ubersense, let alone explaining how to give their partner relevant feedback. I knew that the initial lesson was going to be a novelty for them, but we ended up with a lot of unusable footage and photo after photo of selfies. We tried the pair videoing again one more time in our soccer unit. We moved into the gym where there were less distractions. This provided a much better experience for everyone, but I still did not feel completely comfortable with Ubersense at this time, so I shelved the use of it until we moved to our basketball unit. We had much better results in this unit because we were more contained in the gym and were more familiar with the concept of using Ubersense to analyze our own and others' performances. I reintroduced the iPads about a week into the unit. We had already spent some time learning set shots and layups, and the students then knew what they should be looking for in terms of improving technique. The girls would still work in pairs to video each other and then view the footage together. More often than not, however, I was the one giving the instant feedback. At this stage in our learning process, it seemed that the feedback was more relevant and accurate coming from me. So my goal was to see if the use of video feedback would help improve student skills and performance in PE. I feel that there was a strong correlation between the instant video feedback and a student's skill improvement if the student was working directly with me. I am not convinced that the peer assessing is beneficial at this stage, but partly because I have not given the students the correct tools and guidelines in which to critique their partners. For me, student learning was evident in that I could see a student's technique change after watching their own performance on video and then receiving verbal cues. Being able to see exactly which step needed changing was extremely beneficial for the students. The ability to offer slow motion footage was amazing. We could break the footage down and then stop at the exact place in the skill sequence that errors were being made. We could also view 2 videos at the same time to compare correct and incorrect technique or to demonstrate the changes that were being made. The results of the survey I sent out came back very positive. Most indicated that they were excited about using the iPads in class and felt that they were a very useful tool. Most indicated that they felt the slow motion feedback was the most helpful.
One of the reasons why we like Ubersense is because it helps us improve our skills. And if we're doing anything wrong, our teacher can show us physically on a video so we can actually see what we're doing wrong. So we like slow motion feedback because it really helps us see visually what we're improving on and what we need to improve on better.
The reason I like Ubersense is because of the backward function.
you can go backwards and play forwards again to see the motion again. And another function is you can compare two different screens at the same time, so you see what you did wrong and what the correct method was supposed to be. Because sometimes when you think you're doing it right, you're actually not. So until you see it for yourself, you probably won't know how to improve. So that's why I like Ubersense.
I like Ubersense because of the fact that practice makes permanent. So because you get instant feedback, then you won't keep doing it wrong. You can fix it immediately.
A reason why I really like Ubersense is because we really get a chance to work one by one with our teacher, because then whenever we do some sport, our teacher can give us instant feedback so we can know what we're doing wrong or maybe some things that we can improve that we're already doing right.
So some of the pros of Ubersense is that we can see ourselves doing sports and it can really help us improve our abilities.
The cons is people who use iPads, they get really distracted, like taking pictures and looking at themselves and sometimes even playing.
Also, a pro of Ubersense is that not just we evaluate ourselves, but also our teacher can see us, and it makes it easier for it to grade.
This has definitely been a learning process for me, and I have already begun to make changes to the way I use the iPad in my classroom. I know to introduce the physical skill first and then bring the iPads in a little later into the unit. I know that the students will want to play with the iPads, but once they become a regular feature in the class, hopefully the novelty of selfies will eventually wear off. I really like the Ubersense app as a tool for instant video feedback, but parts of it are very time-consuming. It may be more beneficial with a smaller team rather than a large PE class. I also need to streamline the video and analysis process so that the students get as much time to be physically active as possible. Regardless of the application that I use, I will still persist in using instant visual feedback in my classes. I realize that it is important to know the program well, rather than blindly learning alongside the students. I have enjoyed being a part of this COTEL cohort and have learned a lot throughout the course. I have enjoyed blogging my own ideas and reading those of others. I like that my research has helped me find many other PE teachers striving to use technology and mobile devices in their classrooms. I will continue to follow the blogs, experiments and results of my professional learning network and hope to be proactive in sharing mine. And I plan on further developing my knowledge and the use of technology in the PE classroom. Thank you.